economic opportunities for our region, which was very robust. We also talked about, I think we talked about it on your show, I believe, or I know your news department covered it, the Hyperloop initiative, which is obviously kind of fits into alternative transportation, the Hyperloop Massachusetts proposal, which kind of connects that triangle between Somerset, Boston, and Providence. And he has come out on record in support of that initiative, and so has myself and the New Bedford City Council, as well as the Fall River City Council and other legislators on the state and federal level. So we talked about that, continuing to kind of trudge along on that. And then lastly, but not least, we met with Senator Warren, and we talked about two major issues that I know she's been advocating for in New Bedford. And one, it's brownfield remediation. That's a hugely important issue for greater New Bedford and especially our community here in New Bedford for what that means for economic vitality of the region. And we talked about community development block grant funding and how vital it is for a community like New Bedford when you look at community development block grant monies and how that is siphoned into our Economic Development Council, siphoning into our senior centers, after school and summer programming for our youth. Community development block grants, these go back to the Nixon administration. This is that was one of his major accomplishments when he was in office. So we had some really robust dialogue, and it was really great to kind of get down there and wave the flag for New Bedford.
Hey, that's great. Now, was Senator Warren optimistic that New Bedford will get additional, because so people understand, brownfields are properties that have environmental problems, severe environmental problems, and need to be cleaned up. Was she optimistic that she'll be able to secure funding?
She was. Obviously, she's expressed concerns with some of her colleagues on the left side of the aisle in regard to the president's fiscal year budget for 2018 and some of the EPA concerns they may have had with some of the funding that may be getting slashed or kind of cut back. But they're definitely very positive in regard to amendments and working with their colleagues, hopefully across the aisle on the right side, that we can try to find some common ground. You know, when we went down there, we didn't go down to talk about Russia. We didn't go down to talk about any of that nonsense.
Right.
We talked about issues, quite frankly, Chris, that weren't Republican or Democrat. They were common sense that was for the betterment of our community.
Yeah, because these sites, a lot of the people who poison the sites, they're gone. Not just the individuals, but the companies, the corporate entities, they're gone. You're not going to get any more money out of them.
And that's the problem. You can't take someone to court who doesn't exist anymore, right?
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the Parker Street site. We weren't able to recoup the entire financial loss or the gain because some of the companies or some of the culprits who were responsible are long gone. So some of that has to, unfortunately, come at the backs of some of the taxpayers of the city of New Bedford, and there are some other funding mechanisms at play through litigation, but you're absolutely right. Some of these people are long gone. So how can we leverage whatever dollars we can from the federal government to make that happen? That would be key.
We're speaking with New Bedford at-large Councilor Ian Abreu. Ian, just want to pivot here. What are your thoughts on this new business park at the municipal golf course?
Well, I've got to tell you a couple of points on that. One, commercial and residential taxpayers here in New Bedford are stretched to the max. They're bleeding, and up until recently, as of today and tomorrow and the weeks and months ahead, there really is no new avenue in sight to really stop that bleeding. We need a tourniquet, and we need it right now, and we need it right away. And although this new development, which is going to generate $2 million in new economic growth for New Bedford, create 1,000 jobs, and have that great economic impact, although it's not going to move the needle completely to lower everyone's taxes, it's certainly another tool in the tool belt. And now we start to add in things. You add this in. You add in new other new industries coming into New Bedford. You add in the fact that our waterfront continues to, despite the 5,000 square mile fishing monument, despite that, we still continue to be the #1 ranked fishing port in the country. So now you start to add to what we already have. This is just another piece that we can add in. So on that basis, I'm going to say I support the initiative. However, I will say, and this is the truth, in my opinion, I do have concerns when I get calls from park board representatives and the chairman of the park board telling me that they were never engaged in this process. That to me is a little concerning. I can only speak behalf of myself, but I don't know what happened or what didn't happen as far as the communication or engagement or lack thereof. So that's concerning. So I hope that the administration and the park board can get together and kind of iron out their differences. I obviously have seen some concerns from residents of that neighborhood in regard to traffic. So, and those concerns are duly noted, and I would hope that this administration will hold community forums, sort of like what we're doing for Beacon Compassion Center later this week. Community forums where the proposal is kind of out and transparent, the public sees what's going on, and they get to, ask their questions and make their statements and, tell elected officials how they feel and express their opinions, and we can take those opinions into account. I think that's huge. And I would hope the administration would set one of those up pretty soon.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Tell us a little bit more about what's going on with Beacon Compassion later this week.
Sure. So this Thursday, the 25th of May, from 7 to 9 p.m., Beacon Compassion Center is holding their first of a couple, but this is their first one. This is their first public information session to talk about the new medicinal cannabis dispensary that they have their provisional license for to move into 366 Hathaway Road. It's going to be from 7 to 9 p.m. at the New Bedford Inn and Suites, which is 500 Hathaway Road, right next door to where the dispensary will be, and also right across the street from where this new development will be, if all works out well for the administration. So, again, come, ask your questions, be engaged, be part of the process, and just come in and have an open mind and see what they have to say. And this is a company who's willing to come in here and dump a whole lot of cash into that property at 366. They're going to dump $1.5 million to refurbish it, create a lot of good-paying jobs. They're going to be giving the city back 3% of its gross earnings every year, which will probably be in the $300,000 to $400,000 a year range, which we can put into our general fund to earmark that or send it over to schools or to public safety. So there's a lot of great things we can do with that additional funding.
Tell us just one more time, Ian, where the location at the time and the date is for that meeting about the medical marijuana facility. Absolutely.
Again, it'll be Thursday, the 25th of May, so that's this upcoming Thursday, from 7 to 9 p.m. at the New Bedford Inn and Suites at 500 Hathaway Road, right across from the Whaling City Golf Course, just up the road from where this new proposal off of Beacon will be, which will be 366 Hathaway Road. So I believe they may be going on with either Brian or Barry later on this week. I'm not too sure, but to give it another plug, but I appreciate you giving it some airtime as well because it's important. Not only do I want the entire city to show up, those who are interested, I'm really interested to want to get the feedback, and I know Councilor Dunn is as well. We've talked about this over lunch on Friday. We're really interested to get the feedback of some of the neighborhoods behind Hathaway Road to kind of hear their opinions and their feedback, and if there are any concerns, how can we mitigate those?
Hey, thanks a lot for joining us, Ian. Listen, get out there, enjoy the day with your family, and we'll be talking to you real soon, okay?
Hey, Chris, I'll be on my way to Taste of South Coast. Hope to see you there.
Thanks a lot.